Hello again, that's right, it's Nick Dutch back on the camera yet again. I've been requested to do a video on the subject of psychedelics and the occult. It's a very difficult subject, and the reason it's a difficult subject is because it's a question which raises more questions, basically. If we are to think about drugs, mind-altering drugs, as things which have some kind of connection to spirituality or the alleged or apparent supernatural, what have we got to go on in terms of facts? I mean, actual hard and fast facts. Basically, zippity squat, apart from a wide variety of allegations or reports from subjective experience, or what certain individuals within certain cultures have either said or believed, which means that we've got nothing to go on at all, basically. Yes, there is plenty of information as to the way that, let's say, the Native American Indians use this particular plant, or people within the Amazon, they would use another plant or an animal extract to be able to achieve various things, or to attempt to achieve various different things. I myself have experimented with drugs. The only illegal drug I've ever taken was cannabis, and that was a long, long time ago. As far as legal substances, not counting caffeine and nicotine, which I've obviously used a hell of a lot of, and of course alcohol. I've taken fly agaric mushroom, damiana, wild lettuce, hops, catnip. Yes, I've even had catnip. And morning glory in the form of a herbal high, as they call them, pill, called the Yellow Submarine. When I used hops, I would infuse large quantities and drink the whole lot. I made a whole teapot with like a 1/4 ounce in it, and I would drink the whole lot steadily over a period of time. And I could suddenly feel heat erupting inside my body and flowing down my arms and my legs, which was an interesting experience, which I think has possibly helped me to understand the feelings associated with being able to deliver spiritual healing energy. But would I recommend it? No, it's very detrimental, especially to your liver and to your kidneys. I would not recommend anybody do that at all. With the fly agaric, it felt like my consciousness was a little sparkle of light somewhere floating in the middle of my head. And when I closed my eyes, it was only that sparkle of being which seemed to exist. Again, would I recommend that to anybody? Yeah, my walking was pretty crap after taking it, and I felt very peculiar. Someone else who also took fly agaric reported the fact he felt like he was a little pixie with gnashing teeth. What use are these experiences when we're considering religious matters? Well, it's again difficult to say. We've got no real hard and fast evidence. When I was making a smoking mixture incorporating hops, damiana, catnip and wild lettuce, it would make me feel very relaxed and smiley. You know, it would make me chill. But it would also have other feelings of irritation associated with it, which was often unpleasant. I also experimented with cola nuts, and I would sometimes hallucinate, like the walls of my flat would disappear, and there would be like rolling fields and countryside behind them, and then the walls would come back. And it was a very clear, very real hallucination. But again, what use are these things? I mean, when I was lying on my bed staring up at the ceiling after having had a wide variety of different combinations, the ceiling disappeared and the moon appeared above me, a big, beautiful full moon, and then it disappeared again. These are interesting hallucinations, but are these actually entering into other worlds? We don't know. All we can say is that they are hallucinations. They are powerful hallucinations that seem to represent in some strange manner something which could possibly or arguably be an imaginary other worlds, which might possibly help you if you want to do an awful lot more journeys in your imagination. But apart from that, you know, what real good do they have? I mean, I would say the best. I mean, all of this stuff is about altering your mind somehow, creating an abnormal state of brain chemistry and brain activity, which essentially means instigating a psychosis or a form of mental illness temporarily. But you got to ask yourself, is it all that temporary? The experience of taking wild lettuce, for instance, may have given me a weird, trippy, opiate feeling, but it actually took 1 whole month for that drug to leave my body and for me to start feeling mentally clear again and actually having the right variety of sociable behaviour, because all of these legal herbal highs do affect your mentality without the shadow of a doubt at all under any circumstances. They change your personality, even the stuff you can just buy in the hippie shops. Okay, it's not good for you. It's not good for you mentally speaking. So, there's no such thing as a safe hallucinogenic. There's no such thing as, when I took the morning glory pills, sure, I had some interesting sensations of seeing everything around me sort of spinning very quickly for a few seconds, then spinning back again, just like you do on an acid trip. Apparently, I've never taken acid. But what use was it? It made me paranoid for 3 days. I was like, like that all the time, because that's the effect it had after the intense trip had gone. I was just like thinking too much, and everything was too scary. It was quite a horrific experience, really. It wasn't really, I wasn't partying and giggling and having fun. I was just screwed up. So if you want to alter your mind, I would, as long as of course you don't have epilepsy, migraine, and other form of seizure type brainwave effects, I would get into brainwave entrainments, and I would use mind-altering meditation CDs, and I would use a mind machine, and I would learn about hypnosis and meditation, so that you can learn to safely alter your mind, and then to use auto-suggestion, religious ritual, and a wide variety of visualization to take much more active ways of controlling your mind. I seriously don't recommend anybody take drugs for religious or spiritual purposes. I don't think it's actually useful at all. I think it is detrimental to you. That's basically my interpretation. The idea of tribal society as having one individual who they were pumped full of drugs was for the purposes of becoming your spiritual leader is interesting, but does that really fit within the 21st century and in Western civilized society? I don't think so. We don't have that requirement anymore. Meditation is a much better solution for yourself, and taking the right attitude towards trying to alter your mind. I mean, investigating or experimenting with the New Age and supernatural, and indeed just hypnotherapy, is not for everybody, and for some people it could actually be very detrimental. I think that quite seriously. You don't become a great magician through forcing yourself full of magic mushroom. It doesn't happen. If you want to be someone who enjoys exploring your own mind, read a book on psychoanalysis, read a book on psychology, do meditation. There's other ways of achieving this sort of thing. And definitely read books on astral projection, because that's a fascinating subject. I mean, the best book I've read on that was by Sylvan Muldoon and Harewood Carrington, simply called The Projection of the Astral Body, and it went into great depth about the subject from, of course, Sylvan Muldoon's perspective. I disagree with him on one particular point, and that is that he feels that as a result of doing a lot of astral projections, he has discovered that he's immortal. I don't say that. I say that you have an interesting experience. It's proof that you've had an interesting experience, and that you can possibly have that experience again. But you can't use, I mean, who was it? Here we go. Alfred's Louis Constance, under the name Eliphas Levi, wrote this book, and one of the things he says is that you can use magic ritual as a way of exploring theological ideas. No, you can't. You can use the occult to have strange occult experiences once in a while, occasionally, and they're very hard to obtain, and they're not they're not frequent. But as far as can you actually use the occult to test a religion? No, you can't. You can't use drugs to become a magician either. You can use drugs to get out of your head, and maybe it'll be fun, so long as you don't go mad or drive yourself sick. That's my perspective. Speak to you soon.